All right, now that we have our folder in our favorites panel over here, Picks for Bridge 2, single click on that to bring it into your content window. And remember that a single click is going to load it in your preview window. If you happen to double click, it's going to launch Photoshop itself and bring it into Photoshop. So just single click as you're looking around here in Bridge. Something of note, again, resizing the thumbnails, there's a slider down here that you can pull from left to right, or you can use keyboard shortcuts, and this works for many Adobe products. Command, hold that button down and push the plus sign, which is up in your numbers row. Command plus makes things bigger, I'm hitting that, or Command minus makes them smaller. So on a PC that would be Control plus or Control minus. Another thing you may have happen when you bring in an image, I'll find one that's vertical here. When you import this from a camera, it may be tipped over, meaning that it's in the landscape presentation mode, left to right instead of tall. And if that happens, instead of turning your head to view them, you can highlight the image and go up to the top in the bar here where you see these curvy arrows, rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. And you just simply click on that to spin the view around. All that's going to do is make the photo be right side up here in your view inside of Bridge. All right, let's look at selecting photos. So if I said I want you to select these first 6 pictures, instead of single clicking and noticing that you keep losing one as you jump to the next, you can click the first one, hold down the Shift key and click on the last one. That's going to pull everything that's located between the first and the last item. So if they're consecutive in a line, that will work. Another thing that can work is to click and drag a marquee. So I'm holding down my mouse button as I drag and then I let go, and that selected all 8 of those, for example. So click and drag, or shift click, and you'll get everything in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you wanted to select pictures that are not touching each other or in order, you have to hold down a key to explain to the computer that you want to select additional pictures that you click on. And you do that with using the Command key or the Control key on a PC. So I'm going to single click this one, and then I'm going to push down the Command or Control key, and I'm going to continue to hold down the Command or Control key, and I'm going to grab additional photos. So that's the way I can select these 4 photos even though they are not side by side. So a marquee selection wouldn't work, nor would the version where we push Shift. So Command click will get them out of order. All right, let's look through this. Scroll down a little until you see the rescue dog. And I want you to look at rescue dog 3, 2, and 1. And I think you can tell that this is the exact same picture with different exposure levels. So if you're taking photos, maybe let's just say of a senior picture, and you're taking multiple exposures of slightly different poses, you might only have 10 poses of a person, but you might take 3 or 4 different exposures of each one of those. And your content area over here can get really full. So you might want to stack them up by pose. So there's this thing called putting something in a stack that allows you to conserve space here in your content window without actually throwing away pictures. So let's click on these 3 images of the dog. So we can hold down Shift and add to it, or we could click on the first one and then hold Shift and click on the last one. And now we have all 3 of these images together. To put them in a stack, you can see up here in our menu bar, we do have this thing called Stack, and there's an option to group them as a stack. Letter G for group is one of the shortcuts that actually makes sense. So you can either do it through the menu here, or you could on your keyboard press Command G. Either way you do it, notice that over here in our content window, they actually stacked up, and it's telling us that there are 3 shots in this stack. So we can drag this slider to see the 3 different shots go by in that little window. You see how they're getting darker and brighter. Or we can click on the number 3 to expand it. So if there were 5 photos in this stack, it would be the number 5 here. To collapse it, we click on the number again. Okay, another issue is that you can tell that this first photo that gets put in the stack is whichever one is first in line. And in this case, it's not the best photo. It's a too bright, overexposed version. So the first thing we need to do to get the best picture to be at the top of the stack is we need to open up the stack. So click on the number so that they all are identified. And now all 3 of them are selected, but we don't want that. We just want a single one selected. So the best picture is this last one called Rescue Dog without a number by it. And we're going to take that, and when we see that we have the blue bounding box around it, we're just going to drag it. Oops, that didn't work. Just this one. We're going to drag this to the front of the stack. Do you see how I get that solid blue line there when I get up to the front of the stack? Otherwise, it's already here, that's the same place it was. If I put it over here, it'd be the second picture in a row. So drag it until you see this solid blue line at the front of your stack and then let go. And now all that did was put your better picture, your best picture at the top of the stack. So you're probably not going to use this a lot unless you're taking multiple pictures of multiple exposures, or maybe they're kind of smiling cut, kind of not smiling, but they're sitting in the same position. All of the pictures that fit that look you might want to put in a stack and then bring the best one to the top of the stack. All right, if you for some reason don't want to group anymore, you just need to undo your group. So back up in the stack menu, you see an option to ungroup it, which is Shift-Command-G or Shift-Control-G on a PC. But we're going to leave those stacked up. All right,